Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a Screenwriter's Rant on Lost Judgment, a PS5 game for the PS5. It is a drama slash mystery game where you play a police detective who's trying to solve a murder and a case that needed to be heard. It's very dramatic. It's very cinematic, and I think structured pretty much like a movie. The law begins to fray, and this guy, he's constantly getting attacked, which obviously in a video game, you need action, right? You need something. This is your detective. He's a cool guy with a cool leather jacket. I mean, the graphics on this is graphics. This isn't live action. These are graphics, and they're pretty sweet. Now, they're not 100% like you could tell by the way the lips move. They're not quite there, but man, you got like this scene. Look how the sunlight comes in here on this guy. It's pretty incredible. And there's murders and different characters. I'm gonna assume these guys are like gangsters or yakuza. There's flashbacks. There's everything. So behind every truth is either ruin or salvation. So I'm not sure what the game mechanics are. I mean, you look at this. Look at this character. He looks amazing. He gets increasingly angry and injured. So you got a bunch of guys here who are willing to fight. See this pose here. This looks like a video game pose, right? Because the hands aren't moving. They're kind of stiff, like right here. I think they're about to actually go into gameplay mode. But still, it looks amazing. Like you've got the light from the headlights, you've got the wet ground. I mean, the rendering's pretty top notch. So it's called Lost Judgment. So it centers around a murder. So probably the first act is the murder, or the detective getting involved in the case, and he's doing some poking around, and then of course, in classic. And it's sort of vaguely film noir. In film noir fashion, it's going to be like, oh, don't dig where you shouldn't dig, or maybe they try to bribe him or whatever. And you probably control the actions of the guy, and maybe he gets attacked because he's investigating the wrong thing. Then in the second act, probably one of the characters dies. Probably the female character, I'm guessing, because she's the one who gives him some information. I think it's her. Maybe it's her dad, because it's an older guy who gets killed. And she seems like the flawed character who dies and kind of deserves it in her own weird way. So then in the second act, things kick up, and it becomes more about revenge because the system is so corrupt and there's very little you can do. And then finally in the third act, you're just basically killing gangsters left and right. But it's called Lost Judgment. Looks like there's a little bit of kung fu going on. So I don't know if I would play this game. It seems like there's a lot of cutscenes. That would slow the game down for me. I'm more of a arcade purist, and I just want to grind through games sometimes. But I mean, the story doesn't look bad. The story looks decent. I think it's definitely set in Japan. And because they do have a flashback to a Japanese school, and everybody's wearing a uniform, and it seems like that kind of atmosphere. But it has a great cinematic look to it. This is an anime, although it's kind of close in its own weird way, simply because it's Japanese. But I think, I think it's pretty cool. Lost Judgment. I'm not sure when it comes out, or if it is out. But this was posted in May, and it's for the PS5. It looks like it would take up an S ton of room on your console. That's for sure. But I think it would be decent. I think it would be a cool mystery. It's probably not the kind of game you'd play more than once because it's so narrative driven, unless of course you had, two different sides of like, well, you could play it this way, and if this event pans out one way, you have different sort of branches, because it's getting more sophisticated like that, right? So probably at the end when you're fighting everybody, in that big gang fight, and you might have different guys lined up depending on how you played out some of the scenes. Would be my guess. So Lost Judgment, out soon, I'm guessing. You really ought to put the release date on the trailer, so I don't have to go look it up. I like doing research sometimes. But check it out for PS5 if you have one.